any of the official race signage yourself, and you can sticker up your vehicles with sponsored stuff as much as you want. A couple of things about putting the signage on, all right? What we recommend is putting the signage on with clear contact paper, all right? We'll issue the contact paper for you too. Do not, and the worst sign of them all is this one right here, because it's caution bicycles head, it's reflective. And as such, if you put that thing on your vehicle, you will not be able to get it off in any size greater than a grain of sand. This vehicle, not this one, but I think it was 2 years before this, George and I watched as one of his race crew put one of these signs on the bumper, directly on the bumper, and it was like, it was not too late, there was nothing we could do. It took George and I 4 hours to get that sign off the bumper. And nothing you can think of, not gasoline, not alcohol, not any of the things that you're not supposed to, nothing will take that off. It just, we had to take it off like with an X-Acto knife, a shot at a time. So even though some of these signs will have that sort of backing on, we really recommend putting it on with clear contact paper.
Contact paper first and sticker.
Yeah, you can put it on the contact paper, but the best thing to do is not even peel the backing off the paper, just put the contact paper right over it. And that way you just peel the contact paper off, and you are done. You can take all the signage off the vehicle in literally like 5 minutes. You got to return most of these vehicles, not most of them, a lot of them are rented. And you don't want to be sitting there spending hours to pull this stuff off the van, et cetera. So anyway, a couple more things. I showed you earlier the van set up with bikes on the roof, and I should have pointed this out, that the speakers, because you can have loudspeakers, you can communicate with the rider through a lot of different ways. We'll get into that in a second. And then you can play music, because that's one of the ways you stay awake and motivated, is, you know, whatever you're using the taste are. They range from, you know, Yuri Rovich played Slovenian accordion folk music, you know, which fortunately nobody ever listened to because he was always in front of the race. But you want these speakers on the outside. They're really a pretty sweet deal. But here's the thing. George, who's raced around many times, he's got it right. Okay, this is the loudspeaker for the driver or the navigator to talk to the racer. And these are music speakers. And they're just mounted on a bike rack, turn flipped upside down on it, but it's actually pretty cool. Anyway, a lot of guys mount those speakers on the roof. But here's the problem, okay? My first Grand Nats ride into, I mounted the speakers on the roof. I thought that was really cool, really clever. You know, until I played Rolling Stones Honky Tonk Women 20 times in a row. And inside the van, it comes through the roof, and of course, out in front, you're riding. And if you're riding into a crosswind or headwind, you can't hear anything. And so you have to have that music cranked all the way up. They couldn't even hear each other inside the van, and they freaking hated me. And it was over. So if you're going to set up the speakers on the outside and play music that way, you want them down here on the front, because then it's actually quiet and they don't need to listen to it.
Do you have any sort of recommendations for, you know, what speakers to buy, or, you know, are there sort of pre-made kits or anything like that?
You know, I don't specifically, because that technology and the arrangement, the way they're done and all that, what's available changes literally every year. What a lot of people use are like boat speakers, for, you know, because then they'll withstand the rain and the water and all that kind of weather. So it's not very complicated. you know, if you're a handy Larry here, you can do just about anything. So,
Are there any race regulations against headphones?
are there, pardon me?
Race regulations against headphones?
Yes, actually, we'll talk a little bit about that in a second here too, when we get to the communication part of it. But this is the basic, you know, the basic setup for a typical fall vehicle. The only thing that's changed, you know, over the, you know, last 10 years is we've eliminated the flag off the roof.
And Amber lights on,
Yeah, sorry. If I can point it out, right here and right here are amber flashing lights. We made a change to that last year. It used to be that you had to turn when you went, if you did leapfrog support, and you were out on the highway driving highway speed up to the next stop, you had to take the slow-moving vehicle triangle off, and you had to turn the amber lights off. Now, we say, no, just leave it all on. Leave the triangle on, leave the amber roof lights on all the time, too. We have limited amounts of the vehicle triangles and the amber roof lights in Oceanside. We can't guarantee you're going to have it, okay? We try and get them ahead of time, but they can't. We now have we can't always. The amber flashing roof lights, now they have a really kind of cool unit that are battery, you know, take just AA batteries, and you can turn them on. You can leave them on the entire race, and you might need to change the batteries once. It's a really pretty sweet deal. And so we've tried to get those, but we can't get enough of them. And what will happen is we're just now starting to order them, and we'll buy every one of those battery-powered lights available in America over the next month, and we still won't have them.
So you recommend buying them? I mean, I've seen them on the website, so order them early?
Yeah, please do. And it'll give us an idea, you know, what we need to have, because we can't just get them as a drop of a hat. It doesn't matter. It's if you order from us, you'll get exactly what you need. And we know there are some things that work and some things that don't. For years, a lot of people bought the kinds that are rotating, like the old police car lights. The problem is, what we found is those things have, because they're mechanical or electromechanical, they tend to break down. And the problem is, when they break down, you're screwed, unless you've got a backup system for it. So we try and have some of those lights in our official cars so they can help people out along the way. But you know, if it's one of those years, and all of a sudden you got 10 people with lights go out, you're not going to have enough, and then you got to figure out how to find out how to keep racing. Which brings up another point you need to have back to the beginning. You need to kind of have a backup for everything. The last thing you want to do is put a bunch of money into registering and flying people in and, you know, all the rest of the stuff, and then be knocked out of the race by something incredibly stupid, you know, like not bringing an extra wheel for a bike or something. Just different kind of setup. These are North Coast Wheelman guys. This guy is Jim Penceres. He's the brother of Pete, who holds the Ram set in 1986 and still holds the solo Ram speed record. Just a slightly different setup. You can see the amber flashing lights on the roof. Because of the bikes on the rear mount, they had to move this is a little marginal. Caution bicycles ahead. If it were this year, this is probably, I think this was the year before we took over the race. We would have it on the window up in the back. Wouldn't allow that today. But the triangle up there on the roof is, they can turn the lights off and the triangle folds down. Again, we eliminate that, but most all of everything's visible. The team, you know, it's the team name, the team number. They have, what's interesting about this is again, back to your thinking about how you put together a crew and put all these pieces together. This is kind of cool because you can have a crew person that's 5 feet tall and they can get the bikes off there. This is one of those one of the big one-ton vans. And you can imagine if the bikes were mounted on the roof, you would have to be at least 5 feet 8, 5 feet 10 to be able to even get the bikes off the roof of the van, which slows you down and creates issues. So these are kind of cool bike racks, the way these things are, the ones on the side with anybody can get.
Anybody had any problems with the license plate not being visible?
Yeah, we don't like that either, Larry. It's, I don't know that anybody, not since we've taken over the race, not that I've heard.
I've just seen some user groups, some state grass people.
Yeah. Here's another little thing about RAM. We go through 12 states, the current route goes through 12 states, 88 counties, and a little over 350 separate communities. We permit the key areas, okay, where we know we'll have a lot of riders on the road. And then most of the rest of the areas, we send notification letters, and we send notification letters to all the law enforcement. That means the local police, the county sheriffs, and the state highway patrol. We also send notification letters to the DOTs, the state departments of transportation, and the chambers of commerce along the route as well. And just remind them we're coming through again. This will be our 32nd year this year, which makes this, by the way, one of the longest running, continuously running bicycle races in America. We send them notification letters. Everybody's all aware of it. And when you see highway patrol and like, particularly on places like Kansas and that, they're actually there. They've been told you're coming through, and they're there to they're there as fans for one thing. They love to watch the race, and just to see things go smoothly and all that. Once in a while, you will get a law enforcement officer who didn't get the memo, all right? And what will happen is they'll maybe stop you for something, and you'll say, well, this is Race Across America, and they'll go, yeah. And for whatever reason, you didn't get the memo. In general, do what he tells you to do. If he says, do this, pull over, do it this way, don't argue, just do it. But if there's an issue, if it's counter to the RAM rules or something, you'll call us, call race headquarters, and they'll, tell you exactly what to do, how to respond, that sort of thing. And all this is in the RAM rules, by the way. The RAM rules they're in the route book, and they're also in the gear book, and so you can, I think you can download that gear book now, and the rules come with it. And there are, it looks here, the rules plus the introduction to the rules are 41 pages. All right? You want to read the rules. Now, I can tell you that the rules, every rule is there for a reason. The guideline is, in general, the rules are to ensure safety, a level playing field, and to protect the integrity of the race. Some of the things you will read in those rules, and you will wonder what's wrong with us. Like, why is that in there? One of the rules, for example, is you cannot be attached to the vehicle, the follow vehicle, by an electrical cord or a feeding tube. Now, common sense would tell you that would not be a good thing. But people do this stuff. Everybody's looking for kind of an edge in this thing, inexpensive edge. And man, if you can go through the desert with automatic hydration the whole way or something like that, you might think that's a great solution. Well, it's not. So every time, it's kind of like this country, you write the Constitution, it's pretty simple. You think you got it all in the Constitution, and somebody just tries something a little different. Oh my gosh, now you got to pass a law pretty soon. You get the, thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of laws. We can take those RAM rules, all right, and here are the entire RAM rules for our Challenge Series races. They're one page and a little bit more. It's all the basic stuff. No drafting, no hanging on the vehicle, again, common sense. But most of the people in the qualifying races are only in those races for what will be about 18 to 30 hours. Okay? And so we want you to have the basic stuff ingrained in your head. When you go off and race around, you're going to be there for days on end. There's a lot of little things you start thinking about when you can't do those little things. So, oh, yeah. Yeah. It should be up. My son, Rick, is the one that does that. He's down in Louisville right now watching the cyclocross world championships. He's texting me these pictures. Oh my God, it's snowing. And he's, anyway, he'll be back in the office next week. If the 2013 yearbook is not up there yet, it will go up next week.
Any significant changes?
No, not really. It's materially the same, and the root book is materially the same too. And what I would suggest is you won't get the 2013 root book until you show up in Oceanside, because things happen to the route all the way along. Okay, I mean right up till the day. They may start construction on a key piece of the route, and they'll start at May 1. Well, then we got to go back in and redo all the GPS, all the routes and everything, everything else to compensate for that. So, but if you want to see what's there and get familiar with it, what I would suggest is just go to the RAM store and buy the 2012 book and just make copies of that and distribute it. But no, when you're on the race, you don't want the 2012 route book or 2012 rules anywhere near your race vehicles. In 2009, Yuri Rovich, who was the best Ram racer in history, the guy was just a machine. His crew in 2009, and we didn't know this till it got already, out 3/4 of the way across the country, was using the 2008 route book and 2008 GPS. I guess the crew thought they would save some money or something by using the stuff in the 2008 race. You got 45 minutes of penalties for that, cost them the race. And that should have been his, I guess his 6th Ram win, I think, but 5th Ram win. But it didn't happen. So anyway,
That's just on the back of the rack thing. Are there, you commented on the different configurations, are there sort of sharing best practices or how, even sourcing of racks?
yep.
Any thoughts on that?
No, sourcing of racks, you can
buy it sort of
Anywhere, yeah.
Other options that you've ran across?
Not really, no. I mean, you'll have to buy them. If you don't have them, you can't borrow them from a friend, you'll need to buy them from somewhere. So, I didn't use this kind of a rack, okay, when I raced, but today if I raced, that's what I would use. I would use a roof rack, but I put bikes there that I wasn't going to use, but, maybe a specific spot for a certain thing. And most riders, a little tougher, it's a little different with an 8-person, 4-person team, you can do it. You can take 2 bikes along. 8-person team is pretty tough to bring 2 bikes. The reality is, with 8 people, you really shouldn't need them. You know, unless you're at the front end of that race, you're going to win you want to set records, then you're probably going to figure out a way to take the extra bikes. Because you really don't want to be climbing in the Appalachians with a time trial bike, for instance, or vice versa if you can help it. But, for a solo racer, you're going to definitely want to have at least 2 bikes. So I raced with 3, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Best advice I heard is get a rack, bikes don't fall off.
Yep, that's it. That is exactly right.
And that the crew, when they're tired, get them on and off the left.
Exactly. Oh man, there are so many stories about that. Okay, so this was my race, my solo race in '06. That's everything sitting in my garage. At the time, what I used, it was an even better alternative to the time trial bike. I wouldn't ride it today for a variety of reasons, but soft ride was geared for the flats. You know, it had I think it had like 128-inch gear on it, so that I wouldn't be, if I had a tailwind, I didn't need to be geared out. I could still be pedaling at 40 miles an hour. Conventional gearing is really difficult. I had a aluminum bike, really stiff. I used that for climbing. It was super light. And then I had a carbon bike that was set up for, that's what I did 80% of the riding on. So, anyway, and everything's all laid out, and what you'll want to create is a checklist and go through mentally everything you do when you ride your bike. If you bring your bike to the bike shop, think about what you bring it for, and that's what you need to bring on the trip, okay? And you need a crew that can do everything on the road that people can do in a bike shop. I mean, everything from sleeping, personal hygiene, every kind of weather, everything. Go through the drilling. What do you need to make sure you got a checklist, and then when you get ready to pack, just lay it all on the ground and mentally go through it again and again and again. And that way you'll minimize the things you forget. You think you'll have everything that you won't, okay? Which is an issue. I'll give you an example in a second. So you lay it all out. Then you got to figure out what you're going to do with this stuff at the end. All right? What do you do with all the extra food you have? There's food just all laid out on the ground. All kinds of different things. What are you going to do with it? All right? What we do, there's a couple of options. If you've flown into the race, in other words, if you're coming from London, you fly into Oceanside, you rent the van, you put all the stuff together. You have to buy all those little plastic bins and all the rest of that junk. A lot of stuff you just knock the bike rack. You're probably not going to bring a bike rack over. Okay. So you're going to make these purchases. You go through the race, and what do you do with this stuff at the end of the race? Okay. At the end of the race, some of the stuff you'll keep, and you need to figure out how you're going to get that back to wherever you are. The food, you're probably not. We will take at the finish line all the food because we donate that all to local charities. Okay, we will take like those pillows. Those are cheap pillows from Kmart or whatever. We take at the finish pillows, sleeping bags, blankets. We'll take it all. We donate it to the homeless shelters. Okay, so a lot of the stuff that you see all gets donated locally in the city of Annapolis and Anne Arundel County at the end of the race. Some things we keep and take back. The plastic bins and things. We'll take a lot of those things back, and some of that stuff we'll bring to Oceanside, and it's available there for people who want to buy it, rather than go to Walmart or places like that. So have a plan for what you're going to do with all your stuff at the end of the race. You can bring it home, you can donate it, what you're going to do. It's totally up to you. We've all the tires and tubes. Okay, just find a neat place and throw them in somewhere in your vehicles. At the end of the race, give them to us. We recycle those. There's a group in Boulder that makes purses and all kinds of things out of recycled, bike parts. So, anyway. Okay, so that's the first part. Let's talk about what happens now. You're going to show up in Oceanside. It's kind of chaotic. It can be, overwhelming in some ways, especially if you've not been through it. All right. So, when do people show up in Oceanside? If you're from Europe and you don't have a desert handy to prep train in or anything, what a lot of the European racers will do, particularly the ones that are competitive, will come over anywhere from a week early to a month early, and they will train out in the desert. They'll ride in that 100-degree heat every day. They'll climb, they'll ride pieces of the course, things like that. It's not practical for most people, but we recommend not coming at the last minute. Come early enough to get in a little riding. And so what's going to happen here is the crew is going to do all the work. The racers are going to go ride their bikes every day. All right, you want to keep your fitness up. You're not going to go on long 3-hour, 5-hour rides, but you're going to go on short rides. We highly recommend riding the route. The first go maybe up to 50 miles of the route up to Time Station 1. It's a good idea. You can ride up and down the coast, look at the ocean, enjoy the scenery. Let the crew do all the work. So first thing you do, check in at the registration office. Then you go through, you get your and schedule. You do all your stuff. You've done your schedule. You're going to go through the inspections. You're going to get photographed. You're going to get interviewed, etc. Yes.
So when did you say you should arrive at Oceanside if you're not, if you are?
Yeah, don't go for a 3 or a 5-hour bike ride, okay? What you're trying to do as the racers, when the racers show up in Oceanside, come there early enough to kind of acclimatize, if you will. You want to be there 3-4 days early at least. And the racers are going to ride every day, all right? And typically, and everybody's training program is different, but it's all about periodicity. It's cycles within cycles. You don't train around by going on 1,000-mile bike rides. What you do is, this is a bit of a diversion, but and please stop me if you've heard all this stuff, but training for RAAM doesn't mean you need to put in, the 6 months before the race, 10,000, 12,000 miles. You can train for RAAM and be in absolute top shape, riding probably 5,000 to 8,000 miles a year, which is doable for most people who have a job. But the way you're going to train is the broadest look at it is some base miles at the front end. Then you're going to increase the intensity of those miles, and then you're going to kind of taper off your training at the end. And so what happens is you're going to build the base miles, you're going to work into that process. Maybe the longest ride you would need to do is, like I did for the UMCA Cross State record. It was 600-700 miles, but I did that once. The biggest weeks I had were maybe on average about 100 to 200 miles a day for a week, but that's unusual. Most of the training you'll ride, a week would be 20 to 30 miles a day with maybe a 100 to 150 mile ride on the weekend and then 1 day off. But you're building miles, you're not doing intensity at the first couple months of training, January, February. March, you're going to do that transition maybe into more intensity, and then it becomes intervals. That's how you get fast, intervals. Everybody says, well, there's two secrets to RAAM if you want to go fast. One of them, everybody asked Pete Penceris, why'd you set that record? how did you go so fast on the ramp? Didn't get off the bike. Simple as that. The other thing about it is, if you want to get fast, you want to be able to maximize the time off the bike, notwithstanding what Pete says, but you want to maximize that sleep, that's time off the bike. Time off the bike equals sleep, that's what you're striving for. And the way you get more of that is by being able to ride faster when you're on the bike. And the way you get faster when you're on the bike is intervals. It's just like regular racing. That's kind of what you need to do.
But when should the crew actually show up at ramp?
Same thing. The crew should come together probably 3 days before the race. And a lot of it depends. If you drive your own vehicle out, it's already set up. You know, like, we didn't need to show up 3 days before because, you know, we did, but we didn't need to because everything was all set up. It was all back, race set up, everything in the garage. All we had to do was put the numbers, you know, we already had the reflective tape on the bike and everything, no problem. All we had to do was put the numbers on the, you know, on the vehicles and that. We were ready to go. Yeah.
Since you're talking a little bit about training, can you, you're thinking about elderly training? How necessary is it? Does everybody have to do it, or can you?
Well, it's
provide
almost
that?
impossible for some people. Rob Kish, who raced Ram 20 times, finished 19 times. By the way, it's really easy to get the disease. It is, you know, you look at somebody and you go, what's wrong with that dude? You know, 20 times. But I can tell you, it's like on these earlier slides. I'm riding for me, we finished it in Annapolis, or in Atlantic City, both years I raced. But I'm sure, you know, what these guys are thinking about today is riding into Annapolis. It's like, oh God, well, this is alternating with, I can do this faster, I can take an hour, if I do this, and I don't do that, I can take 2 hours off there. And you've already mapped out your race strategy, and you haven't even finished the first race yet. That's what happens. You just get sucked right into it, because you know you can do better. I mean, it's hard as a rookie, because there's so many things you don't know. But when you get through it, you go, you know, then you want to come back and do it a little faster.
You're not going to be at altitude long enough to gain independence.
So you're saying?
Sorry, I got off track.
That's
Rob Kish lives in Port Orange, Florida, okay? And there's not a lot of altitude. His altitude training is Sugarloaf Mountain. It's like 300 feet. You know, you should, if you can, okay, I mean, ride some of the, you know, if you can come out and do some riding at a place like Colorado or do maybe Texas Hill Country, you know, that kind of thing. It's good. It gives you a feeling for the kinds of things you have to ride and how fast or slow you are. Larry's quite right, though. Unless you do that every year, and unless you race at altitude and train at altitude for some substantial part of the season anyway, it's not going to have a big effect. So, but if you can do it, do it. And it's definitely worth it. You know, something else I can tell you, by the way, the hardest part of this race is not riding at altitude. Far and away, the most difficult part of ramp is from Athens, Ohio to Hanover, Maryland, okay? Because it is up, down, 90-degree temperature and 90% humidity is freaking miserable. Okay? Coming from a guy from the West, now, maybe these guys from DC, you know, maybe all this stuff.
In the mountains, the hills are much steeper.
Yes. Well, there's no question about it. The most difficult time station to time station ramp is from Cumberland to Hanover. And we actually have an award for that. It's the Yuri Rovich Award. It's the fastest person in that segment. And by the way, the guy who won it last year was a rookie from Florida, Steve Berzley. But he knew that was coming. He said, okay, well, I can't win this thing. He said, no, I'm in the top 10 here. I'm not going to win it. But what I'm going to do is adjust. That's the time station segment we want to do. So You did it well, too.
So anyways, they show up, prepare the bikes, get everything all ready, check the lights, all that business. Go through the inspections. There will be mandatory meetings. There'll be a crew chief meeting. Everybody has to attend. And there's a racer meeting. Everybody has to attend. You will also have a team where your team and crew and whatever will get together and talk about things. You'll want to do that. You're going to go over the rules again in the book. A lot of people like to recommend going through the route book and in a highlighter, highlighting all the right turns in one color and all the left turns in another color. You know, it sounds like moronic now while you're sitting there thinking about it, but you can't read left and right. Wait till you're out there about 4 days into the race, you haven't slept, you can hardly see. It's dark, it's raining outside. It's a good idea. Every vehicle should have if you can, not just a cell phone, but it's a great idea to have like one on AT&T and one on Verizon, because there's coverages. You won't have cell phone coverage everywhere. You're going to run around by, food and whatever supplies, so there's a lot of things to do. Your time won't be sitting around when you are in Oceanside. And this is rather typical. This is one of the meetings. This is a racer meeting. The other three pictures are all of my crew just getting ready for the race, team meeting, talking strategy, everything else, making bike adjustments, bike setup and all that. By the way, about bikes, do not change your saddle or gearing or pedals or anything about your bike right before the race. Ride what you have trained on and what you're comfortable on.
Did you always use the same saddle, or did you take numerous saddles with you to kind of mitigate?
We're going to talk about that. Yeah. Let's see, is there anything else I can think of there? No, I think that's, so they're busy. I'm sleeping, all this stuff. I didn't see any of this stuff. And I either rode, slept, or ate. It was that simple. Crew takes care of everything. Okay, inspections. On time, prepared, make good first impression, because I can tell you the officials all talk to each other. Oh, those guys from Brazil came and they didn't have this and they didn't have that. Watch out, because they're not prepared. Okay, so all those officials are watching guys from Brazil. Okay. No matter who you are, where you're from. Word spreads quickly if you're like not prepared. Rules again, we already talked about the rules. Read them. I can tell you, I have read this year's rules 5 times so far. No BS. Every page, every punctuation, 5 times. And every time I read them, it's like I have to think about these things. You want to read it, you really do. Please. Okay, start. Eddie's Lot. This is where all the inspections were. You'll see these things. They'll be in the yearbook. When you download it, there'll be maps of where everything is and where you go and so on and so forth. This is the actual start date. All these vehicles are all queued up in numbered spaces. All right, we're going to come back to all that in a second. Just visualize, this is where all the vehicles and all the crew and cyclists all come on start date, whether it's solo start or the team start.
This is all of your vehicles, so RVs, everything has to be in the same place at the start?
No, it's a good thing you brought that up. I'm going to correct something I just said. The only thing
the only vehicles that come down to Betty's lot on start day are going to be the direct follow vehicles, and they will follow the racers, and I'll explain that in just a second here. All the RVs will be in a different lot, and we have not worked that out because there's a new hotel being constructed. Actually, there's a 3 hotels scheduled for the parking lot areas in Oceanside. And we were just there last week and kind of talking about the schedule and everything else. And so some of that stuff, we're not going to be able to give you the final information until the days before the start. But most of the vehicles will be up in the upper lots. They'll all follow different routes, and we'll talk about that now. So, all right, so here's what happens. Direct follow vehicles and racers into Betty's lot. And all this will be explained, by the way, they'll be in the yearbook and will be explained in the meetings at the start. And those meetings, crew chief meeting, racer meeting, mandatory, do not miss them. It's a 1-hour penalty if you do. So down at Betty's lot, RVs, etc., up in one of the upper lots. Time trial, the start is time trial start, that's a great start. So what will happen is, at the start line, all the racers, everything starts at Betty's lot, then the racers, about 45 minutes prior to start, are going to go down to what we call the beach lot. And this is, we should have had a map for this, but I don't. This is the beach community centers over to the right. This is a road called the Strand. There's a lot behind these people, a very long, narrow lot, basically 1 car wide. The beach lot, and then the beach and the ocean. The riders will all, they'll queue up. They go from Betty's lot over to the beach lot. They'll all queue up in order in the beach lot. And then as the starter up here will call you up to the start, solo, team, whatever, you will come around here onto the Strand up to the close to the start line. And then at the same time, or prior to that, immediately prior to that, when the racers have departed Betty's lot to the beach lot, the follow vehicles will come out of Betty's lot, begin to come out of Betty's lot in their starting order, and the officials will direct you what to do. It's not terribly confusing. They'll all be queued up back maybe 4 or 5 car lengths behind us because there's an opening in the fence where the riders will come out. The vehicles are all queued up back to Strand. And so when they call the team or solo rider out up to the start line, their vehicle will pull forward and be sitting right behind them, maybe back 2 car lengths away. The starter will introduce who the racers are, and this is the same, Ram or Raw, by the way. The Raw racers start on the same day all the solo Ram racers do. It'll be a Tuesday. All the teams will start on a Saturday. But all the Raw racers, solo or team, will start on Tuesday with the Ram solos. All right, so the starting announcer will announce the number, a little bit about who they are, we're Team 4 mil or, military vets, et cetera, from all over the world, whatever they say. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And then they'll go, there's no racing. This is a great start. There's going to be a police escort out in front of you, the motorcycle police with flashing lights and everything. And the racers and the 1 follow vehicle will follow them out of there. We'll go 2 blocks down the Strand. We're going to take a right turn on a street called Surf Rider. We'll turn around because you're only going maybe 12 miles an hour, 10, 15 miles an hour down the Strand max. You'll turn the corner and you'll stare at the 1 block, 18% grade. And if you're lucky, you won't be in your 100-inch plus gear and fall over your bike and embarrass yourself in your
entire team, but you get over it. But it's fun to watch you guys, we tell them, ride this beforehand. It's not very far, just ride it, okay? Sure enough, somebody always comes around and says, oh my God, they're trying to figure out how to turn their gear over and they have to go between the fencing up the hill, you know, like, they're going, come on, dude, straighten out, we got the cameras running here. So, but anyway. So the riders of the follow vehicle go up Surf Rider, they'll cross the railroad tracks, and they'll go up to a street called Cleveland, and what happens on Cleveland. So it's 2 blocks down, up the hill, 2 blocks, across the railroad tracks, another 2 blocks. On Cleveland, all the motorcycle cops and the riders are in the left. The direct follow vehicle keeps going straight and follows a different route. Okay. The riders will all go down onto the San Luis Rey River bike path, and it's about 7 miles or so out to a park called Nance Buchanan Park on College Boulevard. And you cannot speed along that thing, and I'm going to tell you it's hard because you're going to have a 25-mile-an-hour, 20-mile-an-hour tailwind coming off the ocean, and you're going to have to be riding brakes the whole way because you cannot pass another rider. Okay, you have to stay with and all your team guys can start all together. It's kind of cool. And then when you come out to College Boulevard, it's about 7.5 miles out, the official is going to check the order. If you're out of order, you're stuck sitting. Okay. Now, anyway, so you'll merge onto, and at that point, the riders who are not going to race can pull over into Nance Buchanan Park. And that's the first place you have a vehicle that can pick your riders up, your non-riding riders. And the racers will go kind of under a little bridge, up around. The official's going to stop and check the order, say go, and you merge on College Avenue, you're racing. All right, now, and the next place, this section from College Boulevard, about 7.5 miles or so, out to a place called Old Castle Road. It's about 21, 22, 23 miles out here. That's the first place you can actually provide race support. And so whoever's going to do the direct follow out of Oceanside up to the next time station, wherever the vehicle is, that's where you're going to meet the riders, this Old Castle Road. So the rider has to ride from Nance Buchanan, College Boulevard, to Old Castle, which is about 14 miles or so. You're going to have to ride that with no support. And it's got some pretty healthy climbing. In fact, I'm told that's actually the steepest climbing course. And it goes right by Pete Pensair's house, so he gets to watch all the fools ride all this stuff. He'll be this crazy. He still can't do it, going faster than he is. So you need to come prepared. That rider, whoever's going to ride that piece, needs to be able to fix a flat tire themselves. Okay. Or whatever's going to go with the bike. Now, the obvious things are, solo, you're stuck yourself. But if you're a team, it's a good idea to have 2 riders ride that piece of road. So you can have, let's say you got an 8-person team. You can have all 8 guys, gals, whatever, start in Oceanside at the start and ride out to Nance Buchanan. But have at least 2 of those people ride together in that unsupported section from College Boulevard to Old Castle Road. Then go into some kind of regular rotation.
So Alex Mark, is that where the RV can pick up with other riders, or is that just your other?
It's really hard for an RV to turn around in that park. You really. Because it's a long park along the river, and I wouldn't recommend putting an RV in there. I would just, you need to, whoever's gonna ride, you need to be able to go in a regular vehicle. Now, what'll happen is, from that sort of start at Oceanside, I said 3 different routes. Remember, the racers are gonna go on one, along the bike path. And it'll be, and that, not just the bike path, but the bike path and then out to Old Castle Road. That's the racers only route, all right? The RVs are gonna follow, the follow vehicles, they can pick up a rider at Nance Buchanan on College Boulevard, but they gotta go back on a different route. They can't be on a racer route. And they can meet the riders at Old Castle. Okay. And from Old Castle on, the riders and the racers are on the same route. Sorry, the racers and the direct follow vehicle are on the same route. Okay. But it's leapfrog support only, no direct follow. Leapfrog support only from Old Castle over to Borrego Springs in daylight hours. From 7 o'clock on, it's direct follow only, wherever you are. Okay? Seems from 7 o'clock on. In other words, if your racer hasn't made it to Borrego Springs, okay, by 7 o'clock, then that follow vehicle's got to finally be right behind you. Okay? So it's direct follow starts at 7 o'clock, no matter where you are. Now you'll wonder why someone can't ride starting at noon to Borrego Springs by 7 o'clock, which is 7 hours, and it's like 50 miles. Well, the answer is just make a wrong turn somewhere, and that's happened. And all of a sudden, somebody's lost, and the crew's got to go find them, so they have to carry them. You want to have either the GPS and bike, yeah. GPS is not the definitive route.